what's going on, guys? It is FoxyDude98 here, and welcome back to a brand new video for you guys today here on my channel. Today we're back with my F1 2017 career mode with Ferrari. Today here for the Malaysian Grand Prix. If you guys do enjoy today's video, don't forget to click a like on the video, that'd be absolutely awesome. Subscribe if you're new around here as well. And without further ado, let's get straight into it. So the end of the last episode, if you haven't seen the last episode, I recommend you go and watch it. I did actually make an upgrade. Now, I didn't show it in the last episode because I didn't believe that I made an upgrade. And I spent a lot of time after the recording just nosing around trying to find the upgrades, so I just put them into this one. But for today's episode, I've gone and purchased two durability upgrades, one for the ICE wear and one for the gearbox wear. So this will allow for the gearbox to wear down slower, and also the ICE to give better durability for my car, and that is what we're going to be doing. But if you guys haven't gone and checked out the previous episode, which was the Singapore Grand Prix, I'll leave a link to it in the description down below because I did upload that video earlier today, so you guys may not have checked it out. But as you can see then, we're getting some old engine units for this practice session because we don't want to use our fourth engine element because it's just there's no point because, you know, it's our race engine, so we don't want to wear it down. So as you can see, I'm trying to find the least worn components on my car to try and get on with these practice programs. So you can see there, my ICEs, they're all in really bad condition, so I need to just use a very bad one. And yeah, an engine penalty will come, but I'm not going to do it in this Grand Prix. I'm going to wait because I have selected a circuit in which I'm going to take a grid penalty for a brand new engine, because it's going to come, and it's going to come soon. But looking at the setups then for the Malaysian Grand Prix, I'm going to be going with 5.5 wings. Transmission, I always keep the same with the suspension geometry, that's always the same. Suspension, I've decided to go 8.4.8.4.5.5, and then for the brake pressures, I have gone with 83 and 56, actually 84 and 56. Tyre pressures, keep the fronts the same, and then change the other one to 21.1 on the rears. And then also the ballast I've changed to 7. Again, because this track is all about stability, mostly, because it's a very high-speed circuit. It's a high-speed circuit. It's got a lot of low-speed areas, but you really need to get a good balance around it. If you don't get a good balance around Malaysia, it's going to be a bit of a struggle. So I've gone with more to do with stability, less so to do with traction. We completed the track parameterization test because, I mean, who doesn't? It's just a very simple test. Here with the tyre wear test, I was able to get the tyre wear into the green, but I just didn't get the lap time, unfortunately. So I'm not sure if I do go again. I don't actually. I just decided to leave it there. Yeah, basically, this practice session was kind of a write-off for me. I just didn't. Not only did I fail pretty much every single track test apart from climatization, but I really just didn't quite have the perfect feel for the car. I'm not sure what it was. Yeah, into the qualifying simulation run, I mean, I'm 7/10 down, and Stoffel Van Dorn has even given me a tow until he decides to go back into the pits again. But at this point, I just like gave up and started just messing around. You can see here, just weaving around the track because there was just no need. And then onto the race strategy again, miles off the pace. I have some blame on the engine because, I mean, my ICE, the internal combustion engine itself, is on 81%, and that's the biggest part. There it is. Look at all those huge, disgusting oranges and yellows. But at the end of the day, I also just wasn't quite comfortable with the car. It didn't feel right. I mean, compared to Singapore in the last race, like I said before, go check that one out if you want to. And also, there is a playlist on my channel of my entire F1 2017 career mode. So if you'd like to go back and watch episode 1, when I started off in the Force India, before I came and joined Ferrari, feel free to go over onto my channel, click onto playlists, and you'll be able to find F1 2017 career mode, it is titled, and you'll be able to watch all episodes. And as soon as an episode like this one, now that I'm recording, goes live, it is automatically updated into the playlist, so you guys can watch it as soon as it comes out in that playlist. It's just if you want to, you don't have to, but if you'd like to watch the playlist, it is there and it has been created. But anyway, we're going to be now going to our nice fresh engine, and hopefully this can help, because actually, a fun fact, if you guys are running worn engine elements, it does actually affect your handling severely. I decided that I wasn't going to be too worried by practice because the handling was going to be slightly worse because of my worn engine. I decided to leave it alone. But coming across the line then, for our first qualifying lap here, we set a 1:33.5, which was comfortably faster than Lance Stroll's time, until Bottas decides, do you know what, I'm just going to go 1.3 seconds faster than what you achieved. And as you can see, we were 1.8 off the pace, although Hamilton was somehow a magic 7/10 quicker again because of this qualifying glitch. But Julian Palmer gets knocked out in Q1. I mean, there's no surprises there. We can move onwards. It's Q2 then, and we're opening up the DRS here as the sun starts to set here, actually, for the Malaysian Grand Prix. A very late start to this race. And you can see there the sun just blinding all the drivers. As we come towards the start-finish line, it's going to be a 1:32.707, which was the fastest lap time. But Lewis Hamilton was on soft tyres, so I'm not really going to take too much from that. But overall then, Sebastian Vettel goes fastest, and we managed to get P4 in Q2, which isn't that bad at all, and we will take that, and we'll move onwards. Into Q3 then, qualifying has been complete, and you can see that we're 2.5 seconds up on our delta. I had a shocking first lap. I went off and I actually made a mistake, went into the gravel trap, did the Perez mistake like he did in 2012. It was a horrible lap, but here is my main lap now, across the line, and I believe it is P3 for the Malaysian Grand Prix, which I was really happy with. I was off the pace all weekend long, and to get P3, and look at that, Daniel Ricciardo getting pole position in the Red Bull. That is an absolutely amazing result for Daniel Ricciardo, and he gets pole position in Red Bull's first pole position of the season. He managed to beat my teammate Sebastian Vettel by 1/10 of a second, and then he beat me by 3/10 of a second, so fair play to Daniel Ricciardo. It's a great pole position, and I did not expect that. I was really shocked. I honestly thought that it would have been one of the Mercs to get pole, but nope, it's one of the Red Bulls, and they've got pole. And as you can see there, we beat the objective of finishing 3rd or higher. We didn't beat the objective of beating Sebastian Vettel, so it doesn't really count towards anything. But listening to the session objectives then, it's going to be finish on the podium, beat Max Verstappen, and remain 9th in the championship. Let's get into the race.
And alongside me today to talk you through all that is Anthony Davidson. And welcome again. It's good to be back in Kuala Lumpur, isn't it? A lovely country, Malaysia, lovely circuit, and a race that tends to be quite hard to predict. So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. It was a good showing from Red Bull in qualifying, and Daniel Ricciardo starts from pole position, with Sebastian Vettel starting alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have a Ferrari, Bottas, Sergio Perez, and Hamilton, Verstappen, Stroll, Ocon, and Nico Hülkenberg, Grosjean, Kvyat, Jolyon Palmer, and Van Dorn, Massa, Ericsson, Fernando Alonso, and Pascal Wehrlein. Magnussen and Carlos Sainz starts from the back of the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Alright then guys, as you can see, we're on the grid here now for the start of the Malaysian Grand Prix, and we're going to be doing, I believe it is a 2-stop strategy when I get to it. Yes, we're going to be starting on a set of super soft tyres, then we're going to be making the switch to 2 sets of soft tyres, and then we're going to be taking those to the end of the race. So completely different to last year. Of course, in last year's game, you would start on soft tyres and then make the switch to 2 sets of hard tyres, whereas here it's super soft and soft, to showing you how the tyre compounds has changed this year. But very surprising, we've got Daniel Ricciardo in front, then my teammate Vettel, and then me. So we're going to have to see how we get on in this race and try and get a good result here. But on the grid now here for the start of the Malaysian Grand Prix, we've got 3, 4, now 5 red lights here for the start of the Malaysian Grand Prix, and it is lights out. There we go here for the Malaysian Grand Prix. It's been a decent start for us, actually, a very good start. We've already outdragged Sebastian Vettel. Now we're going to get in that run on Daniel Ricciardo here as we come towards turn 1. Now we're braking. I actually brake a little too early. I couldn't see the corner line to help me with my braking points, so I decided just to brake as early, quite early, and Valtteri Bottas takes full advantage of that. So yeah, unfortunately, I just couldn't quite see when was the best point for me to brake, because if you guys don't know, I do run corner line 2D just to help my braking points, because I'm really bad at spotting braking points. Yeah, we're just moving on with that. But yeah, Bottas with a flying start from 4th on the grid up to 2nd, and onto the end of the first lap now. Valtteri's making moves on Daniel Ricciardo. Will he go for it? He is going to go for it now on the inside into the last corner. Around down the inside he goes. Ricciardo's going to have to defend around the outside here, but Bottas makes it stick. Ricciardo will fight this one, but the power of the Mercedes engine is just too much for Daniel Ricciardo, and he has to sit back. And now I'm in the slipstream with Daniel Ricciardo, and we get a great run on Daniel himself. Can we go for a lunge on Bottas into turn 1? The turn 1 is super wide here, and we're going to go for it here, but we've lunged in and we've gone a little bit wide now. Bottas going to try and do the switchback line, but it doesn't work for him, and unfortunately he's going to have to sit back and wait a little bit longer, and Daniel Ricciardo now is going to fight Bottas even more, so that's really going to frustrate him. But we're up into the lead of the Malaysian Grand Prix. Now we need to start pulling an advantage over the rest of the field as we go purple in the first sector, which is expected, and we can carry on our way. On to lap 3 of the Grand Prix now, and Valtteri is right on my tail. tail, and me and Valtteri, just like in the Italian Grand Prix, are pulling away from the rest of the field as Sergio Perez is up into third, and we got a really, really bad exit there, snap of oversteer, and Valtteri Bottas now closing on us here with some DRS. Now he's going to move over to the outside line for the final corner here, me versus Bottas. This amazing rivalry that me and Bottas have had throughout this time I've been joined, throughout my Ferrari career, is back on here, and we come towards the pit straight now. Valtteri is going to get a great run on us here with some slipstream and some DRS here. It looks like he's running a slightly high aero package, and towards turn 1 he's actually not going to get the job done. He sits in behind, but like I said just earlier, ever since I've joined Ferrari, me and Bottas have battled in every single race apart from the Singapore Grand Prix, so we've had some incredible battles, and our rivalry continues here today as we battle hard against each other, and we can continue on our way now as we come up towards turn 4. The gap is 0.3 of a second, but crucially, Bottas is on a set of soft tyres, whereas I'm on a set of supers, so in theory, I should be quicker than Valtteri. We've got some yellow flags up in the distance there. You might have just seen it, catching it on the minimap. There is someone going slow just up ahead. I'm not quite sure who that is, and it's one of the Red Bulls. It's Daniel Ricciardo, so the pole sitter has got a big problem there. Something's gone wrong, mechanically it looks like, with Ricciardo's car, and he is all the way at the back of the field and been lapped now. So Daniel Ricciardo with some huge problems here at the Malaysian Grand Prix. After starting on pole position, it's all gone away from him in today's Malaysian Grand Prix. But on to lap 5 of the Grand Prix now, and Valtteri Bottas is coming back at us once again to try and attack and try and take the lead of the Malaysian Grand Prix now as he goes towards the outside line once again for the final corner this time. Perez there is still in third, holding up Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton now, and you can see that I try and defend very nicely from Bottas there. I take a very wide line on the exit of the corner to try and give me the best exit speed that I possibly can, but you can see here that Bottas now moves over towards the inside line for turn 1. My teammate Vettel makes an early pit stop to try and do the undercut on Sergio Perez, but around the outside we're going to defend from Bottas. It's going to turn to the inside line into turn 2, and I managed to stay in front of Bottas yet again, but we are still fighting heavily against Valtteri as we have done all season long. And as you can see now, we continue on our way and on to the end of lap 6 now. We are going to be coming in for our very first pit stop of the Grand Prix to fit on a set of the soft tyres, and then we're going to have to try and make those last for I believe about 10 laps, maybe 10, 11 laps. Maybe even more than that, and then yeah, actually about 11 laps would do perfect. Then 11 laps on the softs, and then another 11 laps on the softs will take us to the end. So yeah, that will do fine. As Lewis Hamilton right behind Sergio Perez, and because Hamilton is so close behind Perez, odds on he is actually going to get the jump on Sergio because of that, and I actually get held up because of Perez having to go past. So a little bit annoying there for myself, but there it is. Look, Hamilton is in front of Perez. The Force India team had to wait because Hamilton will get the exit. So yeah, that's very, very good from him, and we can continue on our way as we're coming towards the exit of the pits. Now that is Felipe Massa there on the exit, having a pit stop himself as we go in towards turn 1 now. And as you can see, look at that, that is Sebastian Vettel there right behind me. So that one pit stop, that one lap undercut is really helping him out, and he is right behind me already. So just one lap has really got him right up behind me, and the undercut for him on Sergio Perez has worked a treat actually, having a look at that, because he was stuck behind Sergio of course. So both Hamilton and Vettel in the pit stops have jumped Sergio Perez, so I'm pretty sure Sergio is going to be very disappointed, but we are in a bit of trouble now. Bottas has stayed out another lap, and Pascal Wehrlein is in my way, so do you know what, I'm just going to dive it down in there. A slight little corner cut there, but it's a Sauber. A Sauber doesn't really mean anything to me. I just need to get past it. I need to keep pumping in the laps because I don't have much pace around here, and I need to make sure that I stay in front of Valtteri come the end of the pits. And there was someone coming out of the pits there. We've got Sainz and Van Dorn fighting just in front. Vettel there in behind, and there is Valtteri Bottas. There he is, side by side out of the pits now towards turn 2. We're going to have the inside line into turn 2, and this time we just about stay in front of Bottas. So the one lap undercut really helped us there, and now Sebastian Vettel can look to hunt down Valtteri, and Vettel is on a set of super soft tyres crucially. He is doing a different strategy to us today. Then we go down the inside of Stoffel Van Dorn into turn 4 now, and you can see there that we make that move stick, and yeah, we get past Stoffel, and we can continue on our way now. So we've got one of the Toro Rossos further up the field, and you can see that there's also a Sauber and also Carlos Sainz. And that's exactly what we're looking for now, and coming towards this middle sector now, looking towards maybe getting a move into the hairpin. That would be a good shot actually, and that's exactly what we're going to try and do now as Lewis Hamilton, sorry that's not Hamilton, that's Bottas, goes for a move down the inside of Van Dorn and spotting that, and we get past Carlos Sainz there with ease. And actually, he's going to fight this one back, though. So Sainz not going to make it easy for us. But eventually, we do get past Carlos Sainz. Now we can look to try and attack Marcus Ericsson, who shouldn't be that much of a problem for us because, of course, he is in the Sauber, which is very, very poor. And down the inside here, we get past Marcus Ericsson in the famous Sergio Perez I've gone off corner. And we can continue on our way now with the DRS wide open. And we have now cleared the traffic, and it's up to my rivals of Bottas, and you can see them all fighting there in the background, really giving it their all there. You can see all my rivals are trying to get these positions done. So if they can get past them as quick as they can, we get a huge snap of oversteer on the exit of the final corner, nearly sending us into a spin there into the wall. Very close call there. So Lewis Hamilton sets the fast lap of the Grand Prix in a 1:36 flat onto lap 11 of the Grand Prix now, and Bottas has decided it's time to come back to battle once again. So myself and Bottas going to reignite our fight here, and coming onto the last corner now, onto the pit straight here. Bottas has got the DRS and the slipstream. We're going to go ultra defensive here. We're going to take that outside line into turn 1, which will then turn into the inside into turn 2, and I feel it's the best way to defend against Valtteri Bottas. And yeah, we go round the outside then into turn 1, holding the speed there into turn 2. We defend from Bottas nicely, and that's going to allow Sebastian Vettel to attack now. So my defensive manoeuvres there has compromised Valtteri Bottas, and Vettel, being as quick as that, has managed to snatch it from Bottas here. And now Sebastian looks to try and stay away here. He's actually locked up into turn 4. He's given Bottas a run here. Bottas versus Vettel now. So the Ferraris and the Mercedes is going to war today here in Malaysia. And as you can see, around 5 and 6 now, side by side goes Vettel and Bottas, all giving each other so close there. And eventually Sebastian gets the move done. Great work from my teammate there to get in front of Bottas. Really quick on the reactions. So we've got Esteban Ocon, the race leader, with a problem now. And we're going to scoot past him there. And he was the leader. He was on soft tyres at the start of the race. But there's a problem for Esteban. And unfortunately, it might be a puncture because he has been out on those tyres for 12 laps. That's a long way to go here. And on to lap 13 of the Grand Prix now. We're pressing onwards as Palmer is out of the race. We've got me, Vettel, Bottas and Hamilton all separated by about 2 seconds as the virtual safety car comes out from the Jolyon Palmer incident. So Palmer obviously causing a bit of controversy here. But eventually the virtual safety car is going to end on the end of lap 13 here. And you can see that we managed to stay in the green, which means that we are not going to get a drive-through penalty, which would be absolutely horrible. But now I need to come towards a bit of a decision here. Sebastian is a lot quicker than me. He's on a set of super soft tyres, but nonetheless, it doesn't even matter that he is on a set of super soft tyres. He's a lot quicker than me. It's quite clear to see that the pace from my car today is not good enough, and I'm holding up the rest of the field. So I'm going to go and take a little bit of a chance here. I'm actually going to sacrifice championship points for constructors points. I'm going to let Vettel through. I'm not going to fight Sebastian. There is no need for me to fight him. At the end of the day, I would rather hold off the Mercedes cars and get a Ferrari win. For today's Grand Prix, despite the fact that Vettel is 32 points back in the championship, because he DNF'd in Singapore, that's given me a comfortable buffer in the championship. The only person that I need to concentrate on beating at the moment is Lewis Hamilton. So in order for that to happen, I've decided that because the Constructors' Championship, it's only 11 points that separate me and from Mercedes, I'm going to let Vettel through and pull away. And that means now that I'm going to have to fight these two Mercs very, very hard. And as you can see, in towards the final corner we go now. Sebastian actually makes another pit stop in this Grand Prix to go onto a set of potentially maybe soft or medium tyres to the end of the race. And that means now that the top three, there we are, there's Vettel in the pits as well as we come flying through the pit straight now. Bottas with the DRS wide open is going to go towards the inside line. I'm going to give him a tight line in towards turn 1. Round the outside we go into turn 1, and then we're going to break nice and late down the inside into turn 2. Fend that position off, and you can see Bottas there still fighting it. We just get slightly better traction, and we sort of close the door there against Valtteri, but we are just fighting, and now we need to hang off, and I've just got to keep holding up these Mercs now. I've got to compromise their race. At the moment, I'm now going to play the rear gunner game for Sebastian Vettel, not because I want to, because I know it's the only other option I have. Otherwise, I'm just going to hold everybody up, and I would rather guarantee a win for Ferrari than potentially risk losing and getting a 1-2 for Mercedes. That's the plan here. As Hamilton pits now for his second stop, he's actually going for an undercut. I'm going to stay out another lap to carry on with my strategy as Bottas now looks to try and press harder. And as you can see, with the DRS wide open, he's going to break nice and late down the inside into turn 1. I'm going to do the traditional defend around the outside into 1, keep the throttle down and break nice and late, keep it side by side in towards turn 2, going to give me the inside line, and I'm in front of Valtteri once again. Of course, this race is not over. We still need to continue to fight in this Grand Prix. And on to lap 17 now. We are going to be making our pit stop on this lap for the second time as we get a horrible run. Look at that, the car just sliding there. It just doesn't want to grip, just doesn't want to bite to the corner. And we nearly lost the rear again as Bottas now is going to be absolutely furious that he's stuck behind me. But he's going to keep his DRS open, but he's not going to try and make the move on me because he is coming into the pits the same lap as me. So, yeah, Valtteri is not going to go for it. But as you can see, on to the end of lap 17, start of lap 18, we're going to be making our second pit stop for a set of soft tyres. These will comfortably go to the end of the race, and I've just got to do everything I can to hold off the Mercs and hope that Vettel has a big enough gap out front so that Ferrari can win this race. And as you can see, coming in for a set of soft tyres now for our second stop, we actually come out, and I believe Max Verstappen just held up Bottas slightly because Bottas was close enough to the rear of my car coming into the pits that if no one held anybody up, he would have actually been released first, and Ferrari would have had to have waited for him to go through before I could get out. But Verstappen luckily held up Bottas just a little bit, and that helped me through as Lewis Hamilton there has performed the undercut perfectly. However, it's all gone a little bit wrong now in this Grand Prix as we go down the inside of Hulkenberg into turn 2 there, and this is not exactly what I wanted. There is Lewis Hamilton on a set of medium tyres, so he's obviously doing a very conservative strategy at the end of this race, but now he has made the undercut work. He came in a lap earlier than us, but crucially, he's stuck behind Danny Kvyat. Now, this is do or die stuff. Not really, that's just a complete over-exaggeration, but now we need to get past Hamilton in this Grand Prix as he's stuck behind Kvyat, and I know now that I've just got to absolutely dive in towards this corner, the Perez corner. I do dive it down the inside of Lewis Hamilton, and I make it stick, and he's lost a lot of time there, and that's exactly what I needed to do. Now, I can hold up the two Mercedes cars again, and Hamilton, who is my championship rival at this moment in the season, is now back behind me, and I can continue to defend against them come towards the end of the race now as we open up the DRS. Lewis Hamilton there in 4th place. Of course, Grosjean is now, there it is. So Vettel is on a set of mediums. Lap 20 of the Grand Prix now. Lewis Hamilton closing in with some DRS. He wants a little bit of revenge after my attack, and he gets very close to the rear of my car. Into the last corner we go now. Can we defend against Lewis Hamilton? We're just going to keep doing the same defensive maneuver. It's worked every time, so what's the point in changing that? I'm going to defend and make sure I get the outside into turn 1. Bottas, fast lap of the race so far. Vettel, 4.6 seconds clear up the road. I'm just need to keep holding on here. In towards turn 1 we go now. Round the outside, so we're going to fend off Hamilton. You can see me squirting on the power, making sure that I can defend against him. Into turn 2, I'm going to shut the door there. Basically squirt on the power, get a snap of oversteer to try and slide the car across to stop them from getting any sort of switchback line. And it works perfectly there. And we're still in front onto lap 23 of the Grand Prix now. And we're pushing harder against Lewis Hamilton in this Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel is pulling away out front, and that's all I need to be seeing is a Ferrari victory here today. I'm focusing on the constructors, not the drivers today. And as you can see, Lewis Hamilton with some more DRS is going to come for an attack now. Outside line into the final corner. He's actually gone flying through this time. Hamilton with a great run this time, but I'm going to brake later than Lewis, and I'm going to make this side by side. Can we just squirt on the throttle? We do so, and we managed to fend off from Lewis Hamilton, and it's cost him a lot of time in this Grand Prix. And across the start-finish line, Bottas is now advancing a run here. Look at that. Valtteri Bottas is going for a run on Lewis Hamilton. In towards turn 1 we go now. We've got a comfortable, clean line here, but it's Bottas that is fighting Lewis Hamilton this time. And in towards turn 2 we go now. We can have a comfortable run, but Hamilton and Bottas scrapping, and they don't need to be doing this. All they've got to do is just try and find a way past me, and all they're doing is costing themselves some crucial time in order to get this move done on me. And all I'm going to be doing is, yeah, just staying in front. But on to lap 25 of the Grand Prix now. We've got some yellow flags, so someone has had a problem as we go sliding through this triple right-hander. Just no grip whatsoever in this car, just sliding all over the place. That's Pascal Wehrlein, who has got a mechanical problem, maybe a puncture, something like that. On to lap 26 of the Grand Prix now. We're braking in towards turn 1 for the for the 26th time even. And Danny Kvyat, the torpedo man himself, is out of the Malaysian Grand Prix, and that is just making my life well, it doesn't make my life any more different here as we continue onwards, just doing everything we can to defend against Lewis Hamilton as we come up towards the middle sector now. And Nico Hulkenberg is out of the race, so we've got cars dropping like flies now in this race, down to 16 runners, and Kevin Magnussen is now out of the race. So they're all dropping now in these latter stages of the Malaysian Grand Prix. Mechanical problems, other problems is probably in their way, but actually we've got a huge problem. Have a look at the gears now as I go up towards the 5th gear and then push up into 7th, and you can see I was flicking through the gears there. I've lost 6th gear. I didn't even notice that. I was flicking through to make sure that I hadn't double shifted, because every time I get a gearbox problem, I always double shift, and sometimes that can actually I can actually help the engine out. So you can see here, flick it through, keep flicking it. It will limit the engine's coughs. Some people tend to shift straight up into 7th and make the engine cough, as Hamilton now tries to attack me here into turn 1, but some people tend to shift straight up into 7th to make the engine cough. I tend to, after doing that all the time, because initially I always do it, you can see it there, I always flick back down to 5th and then back up into 7th, because eventually the car is going to over-rev and then under-rev, and you're going to start losing that little extra cough line that you get when you skip straight to 7th. Look at that, flick, 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 and you just gain that little extra speed. It's the best way to have a gearbox thing. So if you have a gearbox problem like that, just flick through the gears as quick as you can. When you brake, there's no need, but when you accelerate, just keep flicking through them. It's going to limit it, because you're going to, instead of just being full redlining it, you're going to, instead of redlining it, you're going to be, you know, going into different other gears. I can't really explain it properly, but I'll try and explain it as best as I can in a different time, because Lewis Hamilton here on the last lap of the Grand Prix is going to be coming around the outside, down the inside of turn 1. There he is, a little wave of the hand there, and we managed to make the position stick. But like I was saying with the gears is, if you go straight up into 7th gear, the engine's sort of coughing as we get 6th gear back. The engine's sort of coughing, trying to get that speed. But however, if you sort of back into the max revs again, the car will increase and accelerate. So keep flicking through the gears when you lose out. As we're going to come across the line. Sebastian Vettel wins the Malaysian Grand Prix for us today. So the plan has worked, and my rear gunner game plan worked to perfection. It's a 1-2 for Ferrari here in Malaysia, the land of Petronas, which is Mercedes' main sponsor. So we have technically come to Mercedes' main sponsors' home yard and have absolutely thumped them. Very similar to how Mercedes in real life went to the land of Ferrari and absolutely thumped them there. So a little bit of payback, I would have thought there. But anyway, there it is, guys. Sebastian Vettel wins the Grand Prix, and I'm very happy to see Sebastian on top for another win for Ferrari. Of course, today I just didn't have the pace to beat Sebastian, and I knew that if I let him through, he could go on and win the race, and that's what I've done today. Sergio Perez is going to come home in P6, so a lovely result there for the Force India team, and they're still picking up some very competitive results, and very good thing. Very good stuff there from the team today. And as you can see, the 1-2 for Ferrari. But guys, that was a really intense battle against the Mercedes drivers. That was something else. That was really difficult. Not only was it hard enough trying to defend against the Mercedes drivers, but then of course, as soon as the gearbox problem came as well, I was like, that is game over. But luckily, when I was constantly doing that flicking through the gears, it just didn't cost me that much on the straight. So I recommend doing that. But there, as you can see, Vettel won the race by 8 seconds. And as you can see in the Drivers' Championship, the gap has come down at the top of the championship to 26 points between me and Sebastian Vettel now. Lewis Hamilton drops to 3rd in the championship. Bottas still a long way off there in 4th position here. And as we can see, scrolling through now all of the rest of the teams where they are in the championship. In the constructors standings, it's gone perfectly to plan. The gap is up to 27 points, so making sure that we continue to leap in front with Mercedes in the constructors. But yeah, so we did a very, very good job today, I felt. You know, in hindsight, even as well, we started in 3rd and we finished 2nd, so we managed to make progress in the race. But obviously, you know, Sebastian just had that extra pace, and I wanted him to go ahead and exploit that. And I knew that I could hold off Mercedes, and even like I said with the gearbox problem, as soon as I lost 6th gear, I just basically went up into 7th, then went down into 5th to max redline it, and then push up into 7th, because then it would limit the engine wear. And it basically just helps with the straight line speed and helps limit the gearbox damage. It still costs you lots of time, but it doesn't make it as costly. But as you can see then, in the driver team approval, I also sacrificed that. I beat the objective, but I didn't beat Sebastian Vettel, but I didn't mind that. But guys, that's going to be it for today's Malaysian Grand Prix. If you have enjoyed it, don't forget to click a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new to the channel already as well. And guys, like I just said before, thanks ever so much for watching. You guys are absolute legends, and I'll see you guys for the Japanese Grand Prix next time out. But take care all, guys.